Hello everyone, hello Ireland. I would like to address my nation, to the people of Ireland, to our President Michael D. Higgins, to Vice Admiral Mark Mellett, to Garda Commissioner Drew Harris, Chief Medical Officer Tony Houlihan, Leo, the two Simons, Mary and Mihal. I respect you all greatly and I would like to put forth some of my thinking. I want to say that while we are all currently debating a full lockdown, I feel that we must. Any time spent debating this is needless time from the clock. I know a good tough fight when I see one, and we have one on our hands now. I want to call upon my people, the great people of Ireland. This fight needs us all. We are all in the red corner together, awaiting the bell. So let's gather together and ring the bell ourselves, including the people of the rest of the world. True lockdown must begin, and it must begin now. A lockdown together, a lockdown united. We must close our airports. We must close all non-essential business. We must cut all non-essential travel. Commissioner Harris and Vice Admiral Mellett, we must prepare and deploy our units to all and any known built-up areas across our country now. President Higgins, you must give these great men and women the power to enforce this task if necessary. However, I know that when the true seriousness of this is understood, as it is becoming now, our great nation will oblige, and impeccably do so. It is time for a full lockdown, and we are ready. Powers that be, I am calling to you all. The fate of our great island depends on it. This is my proposal, and I pray that we can make this happen. We need to take the same measures of some of the heavier affected countries, only we must do it in quicker time. We have the advantage here in that we can see this coming. We can see this coming. But if we do not act on our advantage, then we cannot expect different results. We are not adhering to social distancing, at least not to the extent required to halt exponential growth. A lockdown will facilitate this. It will reduce transmissions, it will take the pressure off of our frontline staff, and it will allow us to identify all of our cases. These methods are stringent but necessary and have worked in China and Hong Kong. Ireland, we have got this. Not only do we have the formula, we have it ahead of time. Let's go Ireland. Let's go rest of the world. Lockdown, united. Together we stand. God bless us all. I mean, in reality, it doesn't matter what happened there. I was in the wrong. That man deserved to enjoy his time in the pub without having it to end the way it did. And although 5 months ago it was, and I tried to make amends, and I made amends back then, it's still, the fans don't even, that does not even matter. I was in the wrong. I must come here before you and take accountability and take responsibility, and I owe it to the people that have been supporting me. I owe it to my mother, my father, my family. I owe it to the people who trained me in martial arts. That's not who I am. That's not the reason why I got into martial arts or studying combat sport. The reason I got into it was to defend against that type of scenario. So to see that, and although months ago, and I have been making steps and continually making steps to do better and be better, to see it, it's like a dagger into my heart as a young martial artist. So I'm just here to own up to that and move on and carry on and face what's coming with it.
The video is a little grainy. Did you in fact punch that man?
Look, in respect to the whole entire situation, we'll let it play out with what happens with what happens with it. So
okay,
what happened was a little hazy for me also, and it was many months ago, like I said, and I have been making amends to make it not happen again, and to be better, to be a better father, to be a better human, to be a better role model to these kids. I know a lot of kids are looking up to me, and sometimes it kind of takes me back, but I have to realise that that's not the attitude or the behaviour of a leader, of a martial artist, of a champion. So I must get my head screwed on and just get back in the game and fight for redemption, retribution, respect, the things that made me the man I am, and that's what I will do.
Could I ask what sparked that incident? I mean, we see the video, we don't hear anything. Could you tell us your side of the story from what you recall?
Again, like, what could I say? It does not matter. There's no answer to what was done. I was completely in the wrong, so there's no There's no need to even discuss what began it, what was going on outside, inside, any of that. I was completely in the wrong. It was unacceptable behaviour, and I accept that. And like I said, I've made amends, and I'm continuing to make amends, and I will continue to do so.
And so right now with that situation, as you mentioned, this happened back in April, but the video gets released last week. Where do things stand with it right now?
I mean, look, it got released the day after my daughter's christening, so we had such a great time with my family, and then, you know, I just have to wait and see what happens, and whatever comes my way, I will face it. Whatever comes my way, I deserve it, you know? So I will face this head on. I will not hide from it. I was in the wrong. It was completely unacceptable behaviour for a man in my position. What happens, I will face.
Conor, since this video came out, as you probably know, you have been criticized heavily from the fans to UFC President Dana White, fellow fighters. What is it like for you to read this, to hear this stuff? Because it does seem like some of these people who were so loyal to you for so many years are starting to turn on you a little bit, that they're starting to lose patience after seeing all these incidents. What is that like for you to read that stuff and hear that stuff?
Well, as far as like my fellow colleagues, I deserve to be called out on it. I deserve to be called out on that behaviour. It's just unacceptable. There's no excuse to it. I deserve everything that comes my way with it. So, and as far as like the fans and seeing the fans disappointed in me, it hurts me so much because I am a fan. Everything I've done is for the fans. I'm a fan, favourite fighter. My whole entire career has been based for the fans, like never pulling out, never turning down weights, sport, rules, anything. I always done it all to light the game up for the fans and to create fanfare, and to see them disappointed in me, it hurts me to my soul more than you'll ever know. So, like I said, retribution, redemption, respect, I will come and I will regain all of those.
This incident happened just a few weeks after that incident in Miami where the fan tried to take a photo of you and you knocked out the phone out of his hands. And so I'm wondering, do you believe that you have an anger problem? Is this something that you need to fix?
You know I'm totally off script right now. The Green New Deal, right? Darling, is the wind blowing today? I'd like to watch television, darling. Russia, please, if you can, get us Hillary Clinton's emails. Please, Russia, please. He asked Russia to go get the emails. We're going to look into his finance. I said, where did that come from? He always talked about Russia. The Attorney General says, I'm going to recuse myself. And I said, why the hell didn't he tell me that before I put him in? Russia, 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 Russia. My wife said, you never spoke to anybody from Russia, darling. I said, that's right. President Trump is waiting for the Mueller report. He's bad. He's a bad guy. But you know what I like about this? Number one, I'm in love, and you're in love. We're all in love together. We've done something that nobody's ever done. Hey, Don, how you doing? Hey, Donnie. I love you, Donnie. For 35 years now, they call Mr. President, sir. How are you? Trains to Hawaii. How do you get to Europe? We haven't figured that one out yet. We don't use airplanes anymore. Is doing well, except, of course, for the Never-Trumpers. But they are on mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. You don't get rich by sitting behind a desk, so I didn't want to do that.
When is the last time that you took any form of cannabis or illegal drug?
Look, I suppose I was caught off guard by the question, and even though I've been asked it before and I've answered it before, and you know what I never want to get into is that kind of, you know, those kind of. Obviously, it was all when I was a student and in college.
So you haven't. The last time would have been before 2004.
No, like I'm not the only former teacher who has, by the way.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I mean, I'm not here. Like, I drink too much. You know what I mean? I bet too much. So I'm not.
So do I on occasion. Yeah. But it's not the kind of thing, you know, that I've ever want to get into much detail about.
We need to do simulations, germ games, not war games, so that we see where the holes are. The last time a germ game was done in the United States was back in 2001, and it didn't go so well. So far, the score is germs 1, people 0. Finally, we need lots of advanced R&D in areas of vaccines and diagnostics. There are some big breakthroughs, like the adeno-associated virus, that could work very, very quickly. Now, I don't have an exact budget for what this would cost, but I'm quite sure it's very modest compared to the potential harm. The World Bank estimates that if we have a worldwide flu epidemic, global wealth will go down by over $3 trillion, and we'd have millions and millions of deaths. These investments offer significant benefits beyond just being ready for the epidemic. The primary health care, the R&D, those things would reduce global health equity and make the world more just as well as more safe. So I think this should absolutely be a priority. There's no need to panic. We don't have to hoard cans of spaghetti or go down into the basement. But we need to get going because time is not on our side. In fact, if there's one positive thing that can come out of the Ebola epidemic, it's that it can serve as an early warning, a wake-up call to get ready. If we start now, we can be ready for the next epidemic. Well, the population growth issue at the global level is not that daunting. That is, the population percentage-wise is growing slower today than in the past, and so it will actually peak out. The problem is that the population is growing the fastest where people are less able to deal with it. So it's in the very poorest places that you're going to have a tripling in population by 2050. And so their ability to feed, educate, provide jobs, stability, protect the environment in those locations mean they're faced with an almost impossible problem. Northern Nigeria, Yemen, Chad. And so what we need to do is take this aid generosity and this innovation and go into those places, offer the women better tools where they want to space birthing or have a smaller family size, and improve health, because it's amazingly, as children survive, parents feel like they'll have enough kids to support them in their old age, and so they choose to have less children. Niger right now, it's still 7 children per family, whereas in the richer countries, you're often at a stable point of which is 2.1 or even less. And so it's really an acute problem in a certain number of places, and we've got to make sure that we help out with the tools now so that they don't have an impossible situation later.